You're listening to the Digital Barbell Podcast. Our mission is to provide you with a clear path to health and fitness through education, coaching, and accountability. We are your hosts, Jonathan and Blakely Fletcher, and we are here to serve you. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe to this podcast and leave us a 5-star review so that we can reach more people. You can find us daily on Instagram and Facebook at Digital Barbell. Now, let's get to today's topic. Hey friends, we got another podcast coming at you today. But before we get into the topic, I want to let you know that if you're listening to this on the day the episode was released, which is August 31st, that registration for Digital Barbell BODY opened today. I think as of now, there's about 5 out of the 10 spots left because of people that grabbed them on our email list over the weekend. But if you're interested in making a change, and actually today's guest on the podcast is a Digital Barbell client, or body client, so you'll hear more about that in the interview. But head over to the website, click on programs, click on body, and read all about it. We'd love to have you. So before we get into the topic in the interview today, we of course have to thank our sponsor. This week's sponsor is none other than Airbnb. We're happy to have them as this week's sponsor. So if you remember back the last couple of weeks, we took a roadie this month back and forth to Houston. Of course, that meant staying at some places overnight. It's not that easy to find a place that will take 2 wild dogs, but Blakely found us an Airbnb in, what was the name of that city?
It was just outside of Denver.
Some suburb of Denver.
Yeah.
That took pets with the caveat that they weren't allowed to make any noise, which we didn't think would be a problem. So ended up taking way longer to get there than we thought. We hit traffic in the resorts outside of Denver. It turned out to be like a 15-hour day. We were wiped. We hadn't eaten a lot. We were just exhausted when we got there. We crammed some food in our mouth. What time was it? Like 9 o'clock?
Like 9:15. We were standing in the kitchen just eating something, standing up so we could go to bed. It also wasn't the cleanest Airbnb that we've ever stayed at. It looked great in the pictures and the reviews were good. But so anyway, we play with the dogs a little bit, eat something, feed the dogs, and we go to bed. We put the dogs in their little crate, turn off the lights, and then almost immediately the shenanigans began. There was like a lot of creaking immediately upstairs. This was probably around 10 by now. And the dogs went nuts, just barking their head off because they thought we were being invaded or something. So we settled them back down, and that was just the beginning of the chaos of the night. What wasn't described in full detail in the description was like basically we were just like staying in their house in like a bedroom that was, a little house that was like almost like it was an above ground basement situation, I guess. It had a private entrance, but yeah. Their house surrounded us on all sides except for this area where we were staying. So it was almost like if you had someone staying at your house and they were downstairs and you were upstairs. Yeah,
we were downstairs and they were above us. And I guess it was not a really new house. So yeah. It literally they just started their day when we went to bed.
They were night people.
Oh my gosh, I was like. You ever had one of those nights where like the time is just passing so slow and you're just anticipating the next thing that's going to keep you awake? I couldn't, sometimes I was wondering like, are they filling like a bucket with marbles up there and then rolling them across the floor? Like it sounded like dragging furniture across the floor, maybe bowling.
I remember we set the alarm for 4:30. We were going to leave at 5, and I was still awake at 4:25, and I was like, "Let's go!" And they were still up. They were still up there, and they were still making noise at 4:25 in the morning. They never slept.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping when we were loading the car they would come out, and I would actually at one point in the night I rolled over to Blakely and I was like, "Can we send these people a message through the Airbnb app and just like ask them what time they're going to bed so we can." So we can just plan for that. The only upside of it, I guess it's not an upside, but like the air conditioning was pretty loud. So when the AC would kick on, I would be like, oh my gosh, here's a moment that it's going to drown out the noise of the marbles rolling around upstairs and I can go to bed. So anyway, that's our Airbnb story. She did redeem herself with an amazing one on the trip back just north of Denver. So we're happy to have them as a sponsor. I'm sure they're listening. Okay, so this week's episode is really an interview with, like I mentioned, one of our Digital Barbell BODY clients. Her name is Christine. She's got a great story. I could have talked to her for 2 more hours because she's so cool. But I think it'll be really relatable for you guys. She's made amazing progress. She's actually finished Digital Barbell BODY and is doing BODY 2.0 now. She also did nutrition coaching with me for 4 months, and she made amazing progress. I couldn't be more proud of her. So I hope you guys enjoy this interview with Christine. Okay, so welcome to another podcast. I'm really excited about this one because we're really making an effort to have more and more of our actual clients on here so that you can hear less from Blakely and I and more from real people who are going through all this stuff that we're talking about. So we're lucky to have one of our Digital Barbell BODY clients on here who also has some experience going through our nutrition coaching. So I want to introduce to you guys Christine. Christine, why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself, where you are, your family, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. I am 43 years old and I live in New Jersey, about halfway between New York and Philadelphia along the Delaware River. And I live with my husband, Greg, and our 2 girls who are ages 7 and 9, and our 2 cats and, who might be popping in and out of the screen. And I am a family documentary photographer and a birth photographer. And right now I'm not doing that much photographing because of the pandemic that's going on.
Yeah. So if anybody listening to this or watching it wants to talk to you about hiring you for photography, where would they find you?
Ooh, ChristineWrightPhoto.com is my website. And then I spell it ChristineWrightPhoto.com.
Cool. All right.
And then Instagram, ChristineWrightPhoto_NJ.
Good deal. So if anybody out there wants to talk to Christine, you know how to find her and look at her work.
Thanks for that.
Well, why not? I mean, we have a ton of photographer clients because of one of our clients who's had a ton of success and apparently has a lot of friends out there.
Yes.
And through photography. So we have about equal amount of photographers and like medical people, nurses and doctors and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, that is.
So I wanted to have you on here just to kind of help people see the perspective of a real life person who has kind of tried a lot of different things with exercise and nutrition and has come to find us and talk about their past and what they're doing now and just go through kind of the whole process. So can you kind of tell us, like, you know, growing up, what was your experience with exercise and nutrition and kind of how did that translate into where you are now as an adult?
Yeah, sure. So growing up, very little exercise. I was not athletic. The only thing I liked to do was dancing. I took some dance classes. And then in high school, I was on cheerleading because of the dance part of it and the drill squad for the band because of the dance part of it. But like, you know, gym class, I was the one with the 10, 11-minute mile, like trucking in the back. So, and nutrition wise, my mom was not a cook. My dad was in the Air Force and wasn't around much. We ate Velveeta shells and cheese, Taco Bell, and the diner that was around. That was most of the food when I was younger. And it wasn't until college that I realized in a grocery store that green beans didn't have to come in a can. Oh my gosh, they can be fresh? What? Yeah, so things changed in college and after, but starting out, yeah, I did not have good habits at all.
What was your go-to at Taco Bell? Because Taco Bell was a big part of my upbringing also.
Oh, burrito supreme, no sour cream.
Yeah. No, like, mine was the Nachos Bel Grande.
Sometimes I would get those too. Yeah.
Yeah. So not a whole lot of education around exercise or nutrition growing up. So how did
that... and I was overweight as a kid, and then as I grew up, I kind of slimmed down a little bit, but I still thought I was overweight. And I had my sister's almost 7 years older than me, and she was always weight conscious. So I would watch her going on these crazy, like the cabbage soup diet and all those things. And I would join in on those, as early as 5th grade.
Wow.
And try to do some Jane Fonda videos in my living room. So like I knew things weren't right, but I didn't know where to go for help.
Yeah. So when you got into college, when you found out about the green beans, kind of where were you where were you at then with like, your weight and your mentality around your weight and food and stuff like that?
Yeah, I was a biology major. So in high school, I started to learn a little bit about nutrition and about things that affected the body, and more so in college. And I did do some classes because, again, with the whole dancing theme, I'd like the aerobics classes at the gym. So I would go, and I'd go regularly. But again, you're also in college, so there was, the ramen noodles and the, the weekly trips to McDonald's and coffee out the wazoo. It was never good fitness and good nutrition at the same time.
Yeah. And so like transitioning into adulthood and like getting out of college and stuff, like what was going on with your body weight then? And like, were you like most of us that gained weight through college and, we get our first job and maybe put on a few pounds, or did you kind of stay constant during that time?
The year after college, actually, I was a little better. I was working for Rutgers at a field station studying fungus. And there was, I worked for a postdoc who was really into cooking. And, they were all science people. They were earthy people. There were vegetarian cookbooks all over the place. They knew about food, and we would like comment on each other's lunches. And that's when I started reading Dr. Andrew Weil, who was the, health guru at the time, and learning more about food and nutrition. And I actually started running a little bit in that year and going for jogs. So my weight was getting better. But then my husband and I started dating, and I went off to graduate school. And he knew good food, and he knew how to cook good food, and he knew how to take me to restaurants with good food. And in the first year, we gained 40 pounds together because we just ate all the time.
Ramen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common. That definitely happened to me when Blakely and I got married. Not so much Blakely, but yeah, I mean, that's when I got to my heaviest, was shortly after getting married. It wasn't for the same reasons as you, like finding all those delicious restaurants and stuff, but I think that's a pretty common thing that people fall into. So how old were you at this point?
So that was, what are you, 22 when you graduate college?
Like that.
Yeah, I think we started dating when I was 22, right? 18, 19, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, 22, 23.
Okay.
And then graduate school was 23, 24. And then I moved back to New Jersey when I was 24, 25, I think.
Okay. And anything cooking in the exercise realm during this time?
Yeah. So what did I do? I took martial arts for a while.
Nice.
And I really enjoyed it. But then it got to the point where and again, I like the katas because the katas were like dance.
Right. Yeah, they have a count.
Right. But when it got to the point where you really had to be fit to move forward, that's when I quit, because I was like, I can't do those push-ups. I can't do those burpees. I know I'll never be able to do them. That was my mindset.
Yeah.
So I stopped taking it. I did, when I was in graduate school, I did jazzercise.
Nice.
For a little bit. And then I found a jazzercise class here when I moved back to New Jersey. And so I was going to that regularly, but then I wasn't having the nutrition on point. So I would always have like some form of being nutritiously conscious and some form of fitness, but they were never at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't get a lot of consistency rolling between the two of them.
Right. And then I taught school for a while. I was a high school biology teacher. And I think at that time I was doing some jazzercise. But again, the eating wasn't good. And then you have the workplace eating issues, that there were always boxes of donuts and Halloween candy and anything people could put in the staff room. And when you work with high schoolers all day, you go for that. We even had a file. It was called the stressed file, because in the filing cabinet, because stressed spelled backwards spells dessert. And in there, people would just put bags of chocolate.
Yeah, that makes sense. We've all had similar office experiences like that, where it's like, it's just so possible to graze all day, and before you know it, you may have had like 500 calories worth of miniature candy bars or something like that.
Yes.
So let's fast forward a little bit to kind of when you found Digital Barbell. You found it through Chuck,
Okay.
I assume.
I did. Yeah.
Kind of where were you at that time? Like, why did you decide to do something, or what were kind of the things leading up to you joining with us that were kind of holding you back before, and you finally decided to jump to do something else?
Right. So in terms of fitness, I was still trying to do videos in my basement. I couldn't really get out to a gym because it was such a pain with the girls and having to get, taking them to the childcare, and they didn't want to go to childcare. And it was just easier to work in my house. I knew that, but I also knew that I wasn't pushing myself to what I needed to be doing because I wasn't held accountable to anybody fitness-wise. Nutritionally, we cook a lot of our own food, and I would do great all day long and be eating healthier, mostly making healthier choices. But then after the kids go to bed, because it takes so hard to get them to bed, I would either drink red wine, or I would eat chocolate, or I would eat goldfish, because we don't have a lot of junk food in the house. We don't buy chips or anything, but I do keep goldfish for the girls. And I would eat and watch Netflix. And it got to where I would take the huge cartons of goldfish up to my bedroom without my husband noticing and like keep it under my bed and refill my bowl as I was watching Netflix.
Yeah. I think a lot of people do that and don't, and it's just
so
it just
bad.
happens.
I tried so many things. I tried having a friend be my accountability partner, which is nice, but then it's your friend. And she's like, no, I understand. You're stressed. It's okay. And then I read Atomic Habits, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a new habit.
Yeah.
I tried so many different things and could not curb that late night eating.
Yeah.
And I always felt like crap the next morning. And every morning I'd start, it's a new day. I'm going to do better. And I didn't.
Yeah. I remember,
where I was.
I remember, just for people listening to this, like when you joined, Digital Barbell Body, it came with a free month of nutrition coaching. And I remember the first way we start most people is by just taking pictures of everything that they eat for a week and sending it to us through the app. And then it's my job to look through that and start to help make those habit changes like you were talking about. And I actually went back and looked at when we first started together in April, at some of the goals that I gave you based on those pictures. Do you remember some of the things that we started to work on?
Yeah. And this is what was so great, because Jonathan, for like 2 years, I was really trying to cut this late night snack eating habit. And I didn't think you guys were going to be able to do it. And it actually was way easier than I thought, because we cut down on the cream in the coffee, substituting out because that was another one of my issues. I drink like 6 or 7 cups of coffee. So when you add whole milk to that, or half and half, that adds up. So we cut down on that. And then we added in drinking more water, eating more protein. And I looked at the first week and thought, oh, I have to eat more and drink more. I can do that. I think those were like one of those
were definitely on the list.
Yeah.
And we worked on, we talked about the mindless bites and stuff throughout the day. We worked on some strategies for that. You made quick progress on that. I was really happy with the progress you made on that. And I think it's important for people that are listening to this to know that like there was even times that you slipped up, but you didn't give up and you got back on track. Do you remember going through those times?
Oh yeah, because it was embarrassing to admit. Yeah, I ended up having 3 glasses of red wine, and then I had heartburn, so I ate 2 bowls of goldfish. But it was amazing that I was doing that, and I was still like to be able the next day to say, no, I'm not going to fall into the pattern again, and then to see results because I wasn't doing it day after day. That was so cool.
Yeah. I think people listening to this are probably wondering, like, well, and we'll come back to what we're talking about now, but people are probably wondering at this point, well, how much progress has Christine made? We're recording this at the end of August. Mm-hmm. So what progress did you make with changes to your body since we started in April that are notable to you?
Well, I think as of today, I've lost 25 pounds of fat.
I saw that. I saw that you logged that new low body weight today.
Yeah. I think what were my goals were to be able to have enough energy throughout the day and to play with my kids, and to feel more comfortable in my clothes. And I've hit all of those. I hit all of those a while ago, which was amazing. And now, I mean, I see definition in my muscles, which is really exciting. And now I have new goals that I want to see more definition in my muscles. So I hit those original goals, and now I'm like, wow, I can actually keep doing this. And just continue to shrink a little bit. I haven't added up the inches, but I know I lost a ton of inches.
I did it for you.
Look at you.
I didn't, if you measured today, I didn't see it, but you've lost 7 inches off your waist.
Wow.
Which in your before and after pictures is just astonishing to see. Because everybody loses fat in a different way. I mean, that's why we track all the different things we do with people, but it's astonishing to see how much your waist has changed, and you've lost 5 inches off your hips since April. So that's really impressive. It's exciting to hear that it's still motivating you to, you have new goals to, continue to build muscle and, improve the lifestyle things that are so important to you also.
Absolutely.
So I want to go back to the part that I'm not as involved in, but that's the training program, the part that Blakely coaches. So had you ever done did you know what you were signing up for, first of all? And had you ever done anything like what you signed up for?
Yeah, yes and no. So I've done exercise classes where I've lifted weights before. And I did beach body videos. I was never a Shakeology person, but I did beach body videos that had exercises like the CrossFit ones, like burpees and whatnot. I hated them. I wasn't very good at that. Like I could never do them. And they, there was no leading you into it. You weren't starting out slow and getting stronger and then adding on more. It was just, this was it. Follow the video, keep up or don't. But
every man and woman for themselves.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't know when you open the True Coach app that when it says warm up, like I thought that would be one stretch. Like I didn't know. I remember the first time I was like, wait, the warm up is this many squats and this many push-ups and what? I'm not gonna be able to make it through this whole thing.
That's funny.
So that was a little shock. Did I answer the question?
Well, I'm just curious, like, yeah, you answered the question. I just want people to understand, like, what is the body program? Like, what was a typical day of exercise like for you? And like, what did you like about it? Like, did you find that it was helpful was it what you thought you needed to be doing?
Yes. Okay. It was. So I kind of lucked out because my husband has a full set of dumbbells in the basement and he has some barbells too. So I had all the equipment I needed and I had a space for it, which was nice. Honestly, the first 2 weeks were hell. I was so sore. It was. I'm not gonna lie, because I was coming from not doing anything at that point physically. Like it was hard for me to get up off the floor sometimes at the end of the day because I just didn't have the range of motion. Mm-hmm. And so the first 2 weeks I was so sore all the time. I was waddling around the house. And I wanted Blakely to say, it'll get better. She never actually says this, but she said, great job, keep going. There's lots of encouragement, but she never said it'll get better, but it did. It totally got better. After that first 2 weeks of soreness, the that went away. Like I told you, my strength was low, my range of motion was slow. I didn't want to do the movements incorrectly and hurt myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I just would go as slow as I had to. And it was great to have my husband to support me for that, because he kept the kids from bothering me in the beginning. Now I'm a pro. But yeah, so
I remember because part of the deal is submitting videos to Blakely so she can make sure that you're doing everything right, and she always enjoyed your videos a lot, because you would also kind of like give her some conversation in your videos too and tell her what you were doing. So
I didn't know. It was weird. And you're self-conscious at first. You're like, oh my gosh, I haven't exercised in forever, and these people are going to be looking at my body doing these exercises. But I trusted you enough, and I knew you guys wanted to help, and it wasn't going to be shared anywhere without my permission. And, at this point, what have I got to lose? So it felt weird recording myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would talk to her and be like, so
yeah,
I'm going to show you my squat now. Those weekends.
That's so funny. So how has your fitness level changed? Because actually you finished the 12-week body program and are doing body 2.0 right now. Like, looking at where your fitness is at right now, like how does that compare to when you started?
Oh my gosh, it's been amazing. I couldn't run well, now I know how far 100 meters is, but I couldn't jog 100 meters without getting winded. And now I can do the whole mile and I'm fine. My strength has increased so much. I finally did full burpees. And that's another thing. The workouts are written to, what you want to do, like a push-up.
Mm-hmm.
But even I had to scale back so much, and Blakely was so good about that. Like, she would watch my video, okay, try a push-up on your knees. And I couldn't even do push-ups on my knees. And then she said, okay, we're going to do push-up negatives. And I was like, what is a push-up negative? And at the time, I'm like, you have to keep pushing through and know that it's going to get better. And now I can actually do a real push-up.
Nice.
And that's freaking amazing.
That's pretty great.
I know. And it's like such a small amount of time, I feel, since I started.
Yeah, it flies by too.
Yeah.
So we worked together for, I guess, 4 months together on nutrition coaching.
Yes.
And you mentioned that you cook a lot of your own food, and you and your husband take control of a lot of your own food. And I think that's one of the reasons you made such good progress, is that you prepare a lot of your own food, don't give that control over to restaurants very often. And actually, we talked when you first started about the idea of tracking your food in an app like MyFitnessPal. And you mentioned that you had done it before and weren't really excited about doing it again, just because, you knew what that was like. And we never did we? We never.
No, we never had to. I followed the hand rule with portion size. And I didn't want to track the app because I just don't have time, like, between kids and work and everything, to have another app that I'm typing into. It's just a lot, but we were able to come this far without that.
Yeah. I'm really proud of that fact, because, it's really just a testament to your consistency and willingness to stick with the recommendations. So you get all the credit for that, but I'm proud that you were able to get that far without having to track your food and weigh and measure and all that stuff. What do you feel like, you have a ton of friends that are probably in a place where you were 4 or 5 months ago. Maybe they're confused about nutrition or don't really know, how to get started exercising. Like, what are some of the things that you would tell them, to get started?
To join Digital Barbell BODY.
Well, besides that, like the emotional side, like people are afraid to start for a lot of different reasons, and it's sometimes based on their past or this insecurities, whatever. Thinking back to where you were and where you are now, like how could you encourage those people?
Just to keep going. with both, with the fitness, like when you get to the point in the workout where you think you can't do anymore, just to take a break and keep going. Because in the past I would just give up. I would say, this is too hard, I'm not going to do the last 3 reps, or I'm not going to do that part of the videotape. But I was doing it for myself. I knew that, like, and before, where exercise had to be something I had to do, like this obligation, now it's something that I do for myself. It's my time for me. And I know if I keep coming back to it, I will see the results, and I will get stronger, and the conditioning will get easier, and my endurance will build.
Yeah. Are you in a place where you actually like enjoy exercise now and you look forward to it?
I
No,
enjoy
answer.
I enjoy leg day.
Yeah.
Because there's not as much conditioning.
Oh, it's so fun.
I mean, I love how I feel afterwards. I love, and you've talked about it in other podcasts, that mental piece. Like, it makes you mentally stronger, and that I never thought I could do that before, because I wasn't athletic. You know, I was the kid who was picked last for most games. I was, you know, I would automatically write off anything because I just thought I wasn't capable of it. And now I know I'm capable of doing things, and that's amazing. And that can apply to other parts of my life, you know, even beyond fitness.
That's so great. Like hearing this, I mean, that is just more important than a number on a scale.
Yeah.
Because it just translates to so many other parts of your life. That's great. I imagine it makes you more confident just, you know, in everything you do, whether you're, you know, doing your job or around the house or helping family do stuff, just, you know, feel better. And
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. It's being a photographer, where you have to kind of sell yourself and feel confident in your work, and talk to people, you know, about what you do. That's a hard thing too. That was a hard thing for me. And knowing, well, I can do 5 burpees. I can tell this person why they should hire me. You know?
Yeah.
That's a piece of cake.
And I think a lot of people don't realize how physically demanding being a professional photographer is too. I mean, you're schlepping all that gear around, you're squatting down constantly, getting in contorted positions, blah, blah, blah.
Yes. And I haven't done it since the pandemic, but I shoot day in the life, where I'm with the family the whole day, you know, running around after the kids, and like you said, getting in different positions. And I remember the very first time I shot a day in the life, I wrote in my notes, need to get in shape, because I couldn't walk for like 2 days after that. I was so sore.
Great. That's so great. Well, so just wrapping up, like, you know, you mentioned that you have some other goals for your fitness. Like, where do you see yourself in a year? Do you feel like this is a sustainable change that you've made, or you feel like you are like in danger of yo-yoing, or where do you feel like you're at, and what are your goals?
No, it's absolutely sustainable. And that's what I was looking for when I wanted to join the program, that I would have someone I had to be accountable for, someone who would give me the workout, and that it was doable with my life. And this is totally doable. So I don't have the cravings I used to have anymore. I know that on the day I went out for my anniversary and I had this wonderful steak dinner, I knew that I could have that day. And then the next day I would get right back on track, which is huge, because in the past it would have been, oh, well, I had a steak dinner yesterday, I might as well have ice cream today. Oh, I had ice cream today, I might as well get that 5 bowls of goldfish in.
Yeah.
But that's just, it's not there. There's no desire for that anymore. I can eat 1 spoonful of ice cream and have that, you know, sweet tooth satisfied. So goals going forward, just I continue getting smaller and stronger. Not too small, but although I am going to need to buy some new clothes soon.
I always tell you, probably if you listen to Chuck's podcast where I interviewed him, we always try to hold people off as long as we can on recommending they buy new clothes until they, you know, we know that they're done losing fat, because it can get expensive.
Yeah. I was able to pull out a bin of clothes that I had saved, that were like my wish box. Like, I'm hoping that I hoped I would get back into someday. And I'm in those now. So,
wow, that's awesome. Those are free clothes. You already bought them.
I know.
Well, I'm sure you blew a lot of people's mind by telling them that, you know, you used to struggle with the stuff like cravings and, you know, hiding the food and stuff, and that you're over that. And, you know, that's really, like I said before, that's just a testament to you and putting in the work and being willing to make the changes. So kudos to you for that.
Yeah, I had some help though.
Well, we're happy to be a part of your journey, and, you know, we appreciate you encouraging other people to take control of their health, because that's ultimately Blakely and I's goal for this whole company, is just to have a positive effect on people like you's lives so that you can pass it on and have a positive effect on them. And we're confident that you're doing that. So we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. And I appreciate you and anyone who's on the fence. I mean, you guys meet people where they're at, and help them on that journey and build things in slowly, which is, it's great. It's perfect. Good. It's what I needed.
Good. We're glad you found us. Well, cool.
Well, again.
Yeah, I'll tell Blakely too. She's upstairs wrangling the dogs. All right. Well, cool. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I hope you have a good rest of the day. And I know that people will be able to identify with your story. So thanks again for sharing. Have a great your day, Christine.
Thank you. Bye, Jonathan.
Bye.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Christine. So if you're interested in doing the exercise program that she did, just head to the website. Remember, registration is open now. There might be some spots left. Go to the website, click on programs, click on Digital Barbell Body, and sign up today. Thanks, guys.
Thank you all for listening. We truly appreciate it. But real quick, before we go, do us a personal favor and subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a 5-star review, and be sure and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for the latest and greatest content. If you're interested in working with Blakely and I, we have a few different ways we can help. We offer one-on-one nutrition coaching, 100% custom workout programs based on your goals, and we offer both a 12-week barbell strength building program called Built, as well as a 12-week full body fitness program that can be done at home, we call Body. Get all the details and reach out to us through the website at digitalbarbell.com. Have a great day.